For this flash challenge, your canvases all have loved ones with a condition that has permanently changed their appearance.
Oh.
Now, sometimes this can bring unwanted attention and embarrassment that they live with every day. To show their support and solidarity, your canvases want an exact replica of their loved one's condition permanently tattooed on their skin.
Not easy.
No.
Today, the artists want to do exact replicas so that the children can bond with their parents. Like, look, Mommy, Daddy has what I have.
You guys should make the pump like red, and I want this color to be blue.
Blue?
You realize this is my body now. Yeah,
Today, I'm looking for consistency in these tattoos so that every little dial on an object or any little readout can all be done.
He fell on a bonfire, burnt his leg. If I have it too, he can say, hey, look, my dad's got the same thing as me.
Same thing happened to my daughter.
Serious?
She was 2 at the time. She ended up falling in the fire as well. It was the scariest moment of my life as a parent. I was 17 when I had my daughter. It was a kid having a kid. She saved my life because I was going down just a really dark path. As soon as I found out that I was pregnant, I stopped everything. I got into tattooing. I'm completely and utterly stoked. I miss her, but at the same time, it makes me remember what I'm here and what I'm fighting for, and I'm fighting for my little one.
Game time.
Erin's tattooing, and she's killing it.
I want tattoo.
Gecko? I decided to sit this one out and let Erin do the whole tattoo. That way, every line, every gradient is consistently the same.
All right, guys, time to critique your work. Let's start with Old Town Ink. Why did you guys pick this particular piece?
I immediately felt something with this kid.
He has Axenfeld-Rieger syndrome. His 139 surgeries have been on his eyes. I wanted him to see it before he goes blind again.
Oh, no.
It's incredible for him to get to see his grandma get tattooed, understanding he's going to lose his sight at some point. Very clean. I love the fact that she got her own little touch of color in there. The color's bright. Solid job.
What do we say, perfect?
Perfect. Show him perfect.
Unkindness art.
There it is.
Mom.
Same as Mom, you're
Yeah.
You did an incredible job replicating that piece. Consistency is perfect. I mean, the little wire and the plug-in, the drop shadow, and how closely it's tucked to her real ear. Very nice tattoo.
Thank you.
Allegory arts.
We did a tattoo of Ethan's insulin pump.
It's very cool that you incorporated the pouch. I love the camo pattern. The colors look solid and consistent. I think it's a great job.
Thank you.
Pins and needles. What did you get done here today?
I got replicated the 3rd-degree burns, scars.
You replicated it with a lot of really light shading. It looks very smooth and consistent. It already looks like an old scar, which is very cool. You actually made the outside look like the graph piece coming on. Very precise. You guys show off.
Thank you.
Artistic skin design.
I got a replica of my daughter's surgeries from when she was a newborn.
Man, I just gotta say, this is one of the most intense ones of the day. This mother being willing to put a huge scar across her midriff is just intense. You guys did it soft. When this heals on her, it's gonna lighten up and fall out enough to be a perfect replica. Couldn't have been better.
Thank you.
Basilica tattoo.
Nice, solid, clean, crisp outline. Great little attention to detail. I think it's super cool that y'all added more to it. Makes it just look like a tattoo and not some little technical gadget. Killer tattoo, guys.
Classic trilogy tattoo.
Tattooing in this body part, on this placement, is very tough, and you guys do it very crisp. Best tattoo you've done here.
Black spade.
The kid's name and the scar tissue above it, giving it its own little touch. Very cool. Technically, very smooth, very soft, very nice shading. I think you did a great job, guys.
Next up is Black Cobra tattoo.
Katie's consistent, solid black outline. That's definitely you back in the house. Really smooth application, matte, and the shading. Overall, I like the little drop shadow and the softness. You have very dark and bold and solid. Looks like a perfect sticker. Well done.
Us winning the skull pick at this point is so important because we just got here and we have a lot to prove. We need to win this.
All bull aside, no stinkers today. When you guys tattoo this way with purpose and intention and meaning, your work shows it. Treat everything as if it's this important to you and you can actually excel.
Everybody did great. The judges have decided that the winner of today's Flash Challenge is Unkindness art.
The details you put in there, the little import jack and the cable and the drop shadow underneath it, perfect.
Right now, more than 16 million Americans suffer from diseases caused by cigarettes. In the last 50 years, more than 20 million Americans have died from smoking. Your canvases today have quit smoking, but they're still paying the price. They all have permanent scars as a result. Today, you must help your canvases by making their scars disappear.
Covering scars is really, really hard. Some scars do not hold any pigment at all, and sometimes it gets raised and puffed up and even more obvious than it was in the first place.
All right, let's do it.
I've always wanted something like that on my body.
This is easily one of the most important tattoos I've done in my entire career.
It's really just kids get freaked out about it, you know what I mean? But if it's a picture, they won't get freaked out about it.
This guy is 21 years old, and he has a hole in his throat that children are afraid of.
Here we go.
This is my chance to make it just a little bit better.
Wow. Everybody's gonna be looking at your neck now.
They're looking at my neck already.
Yeah, in a good way though now.
Stay very, very still for me. I want these lines to be super straight, okay? Ooh, stay very still. Just tell me to stop and I'll stop.
Just 2 seconds.
Yeah. Scars have major tissue damage, so it's not an easy thing to endure.
Just the pain.
If my canvas taps, I'm gonna be so bummed out, not just for her, but for myself. I wanna win this challenge. Stay still for me, just do this stuff, okay? The girls are getting tighter every day. We can't let them get too far ahead of themselves.
How you holding up?
That's a little more sensitive than I figured it would be.
Unfortunately, my canvas, he's been through so many surgeries, his nerves are all up. One moment, he's fine. The next moment, he's in excruciating pain. I might not be able to finish this tattoo, but we'll get through it, man.
All right, time to critique your work, and we will start with Kelly. How was it sitting with Kelly?
Oh, she did a good job. I'm very happy with it.
I understand not wanting to do a big black hole leading into a dark hole. That was definitely a smart, sensible play. But when I first look at it, you don't get this immediate sense of space and galaxy.
The way you worked with the skin in that area, you have some amazing color blends, saturated color and really bright color play, but you don't really get a space feel from a distance when you look at it.
Eric.
You've used his muscle shapes to contour the mechanisms you put in there. Definitely shows artistry.
You did some really clean, strong outlining. Even though it's thin, it works really well with the contrast. I think you did a great job.
Thank you.
Sketchy lawyer.
This tattoo came out super slick. Runs right at the middle of the scar. The feather texture really hides the scar tissue. From a distance, the lettering's a little busy. It's a little bit hard to read, but once you get up on it, it's super tight, technically done.
Kevin?
This tattoo overall looks really smooth. The nice texture in the fur, even over top of the heavy scarred areas. You got the same amount of nice shading over the top of the scar versus where the scar wasn't. It's a quality tattoo.
Thank you.
Nikki.
He had this crazy, weird dragon. You made what he had a lot better, and you got rid of the scar.
The way that you use the scar tissue to play into that rocky texture, to camouflage it all and tie it in, really good.
All of the boys in this house are definitely gunning for the girls. If I don't win this skull pick, I'm completely screwed.
You look great as a group today. To give your canvases something to transform pain into things that they're happy about makes me happy to have you guys repping for us.
The judges have decided that the winner of today's Flash Challenge is Nikki.
Sweet, thank you.
It was super smooth. You had a lot of obstacles to tie in the old tattoo, and overall, it just looked so slick.
For your Flash Challenge today, you must tattoo amputees. When there's an amputation, the residual limb that's left behind can be badly traumatized, leaving it uniquely shaped and scarred. Today, you'll have 5 hours to create a phenomenal tattoo on the residual limb.
It's hard to tattoo a residual limb because there's a lot of scar tissue. You have to be extremely careful and show a lot of finesse to tattoo it.
You must use finesse to work with a canvas who has suffered a devastating loss and transform it into a triumph.
Hey, nice to meet you. I'll go over here to my station and check out some stuff.
Tattooing amputees, finesse is definitely required because you tattoo a lot of different skin textures all in one tattoo.
Where is it exactly that we would like to put this?
I'm thinking maybe like across here, like this.
I'm looking for all of the tattooers to take a traumatic instance for a client and turn it into a thing of beauty that they want to show off and be proud of.
I
I'm tattooing the entire residual limb, and it's really tricky because there's some areas that are not tattooable. I feel like the ink might not hold that well because the scar tissue is getting damaged so quickly. And there's some areas that are too painful to tattoo. Still doing okay?
That side really hurts.
Bear with me. I have to really create something that helps her distract her eye so that when she looks at her residual limb, she sees a beautiful tattoo.
All right.
Hey, I'm sorry. I can't control it. Twitching. Look at that.
Oh, it's moving. My canvas's residual limb is bouncing off of the table.
Oh, man, so sorry. I don't want to screw you up.
We're not gonna slow down for nothing. I'm gonna have to use finesse to get through this.
2 more hours.
I'm gonna use some of your scars as texture.
Right now in the competition, we're getting down to the nitty-gritty.
I wanna make it look awesome.
I'm telling you, I love it.
Josh, I really like how you took the end of the limb and turned that into textures that worked within the fire and the smoke.
It was really important to me that I actually did tattoo over the scar tissue.
Knowing how to work with it and change your machinery to adapt, that shows finesse.
Jason.
What I really like about this tattoo is the way it fits on the body and the flow of the tail that wraps around the knee. Took a lot of finesse, so I think you did a great job.
Mark.
I asked him to do a watercolored abstract flower, and I emphasized abstract because that was the craziness that was going on after my wreck.
What stands out strong about this tattoo is how bright and vivid the colors are. I think it's a great collage.
Aaron.
I think the overall placement to this really lends itself well to the body part. You were able to keep a flow because when his leg really bends, it connects and moves. Looks great.
Thanks, guys.
Eric.
The way that you left the old tattoo and worked the negative space in your current image to let that old tattoo kind of sit there, it flows together really nice. It's a super strong, bright, very detailed tattoo. Super cool.
Don.
Nice, soft black and gray. When that thing heals, it's gonna have some real nice, smooth areas. Overall, it looks good. It's readable. Good job.
Clean.
Man, capturing the detail in those flowers and leaves is really amazing.
It shows a lot of finesse because you have the really, really tight detail and then the very bold lines. Great design, Clean.
Chris, I have to ask, it's not what you initially wanted. Are you happy with how this came out?
It was a compromise. It's got some really nice details. The lightning bolt in the eye and the really smooth, soft gray shading that you have in the underside of the nose leading into the jaw makes for really high contrast.
Chris made an executive decision not doing a shark eating the guy's arm. I don't have respect for people that don't step out of the comfort zone. It's an easy way out.
The judges have decided the winner of today's Flash Challenge is Eric.
The way that you broke the negative space skin into the top of the tattoo and then the way it flowed off at the bottom, very smooth tattooing.
Some of the most meaningful tattoos celebrate a personal victory. One of the greatest triumphs is surviving cancer. Your canvases today have all survived one of the deadliest forms, breast cancer. Many of them beat cancer by having a mastectomy to remove the breast. Some women choose to reconstruct their breasts, but the scars remain. And these scars are in a very sensitive area. So it's even more challenging to pull off a flawless tattoo, but that's exactly what you must do for these canvases.
As a cancer survivor, I know what it's like to stare death in the face. This tattoo represents life, and it represents the good things that come out of fighting.
I want a flowering vine across the whole chest.
Are you trying to go where the nipples would tend to be?
Yes,
Okay.
I feel like a war went on in my chest. This is like a battlefield, and I would rather have something beautiful.
After last night, I was like feeling really overwhelmed and started to freak out. I feel like I'm just not ready.
Out of all the times to have a canvas have second thoughts, this is the worst possible time. There are 4 strong artists left. I do not want to get sent home because everybody else did a tattoo and I didn't.
I don't want to wake up tomorrow and say, man, why did I do all that?
I'm freaking out right now.
What I did is I drew pretty much like line drawings of a bunch of different butterflies.
Would you be opposed to not doing the really big one? I really just want to keep it
not a lot going on.
It doesn't matter if it's a huge tattoo or if it's a tiny tattoo. The precision that I can get in a tiny tattoo is just as nice.
Still okay?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna be sitting for 6 hours. No, I did chemo. I can do this.
I've got a lot of work in a short amount of time to do it. I have absolutely no wiggle room in this.
It's nice that there's survivors like you that can go out there and go like, look, it's not the end of the world. To have that positive spin, I think, is really, really cool.
Artists, this was your last chance to prove that you deserve to compete in the live finale for $100,000, a feature in Inked magazine, and the title of Ink Master. Sausage. Let's start with your mastectomy tattoo.
The thing I like the most about this tattoo, I love the way it fits. I love that it's not symmetrical. I think it gives it a unique look. It's just a real quality job, man.
Thank you.
Scott.
This wasn't necessarily a cover a scar challenge. The challenge was dealing with these ladies' situation and giving them something beautiful to be proud of. And just taking your time to do these really soft little detailed butterflies is very impressive.
Maddie.
Let me commend you on having good taste to pick the proper shaped flower to put on her chest. The way that the flower's closing on the outside and blowing open on the inside, you're drawing with a movement, and that's a great thing.
Halo. You're a cancer survivor yourself.
Yeah.
Did this one hit home for you more so than...
Dude, I've never stayed up till 3:30 in the morning drawing 4 flowers. It was intense.
Yeah.
Well, Halo, man, I really love the way this tattoo fits. It flows with the curve of the body. I really like the soft, out of focus accents on the edges. It really does create that depth, and it creates different textures in the tattoo.
And the 4 of you have battled to be standing here. However, there can only be one winner. The judges have decided that the best tattoo of the day goes to Sausage.
Nice, dude.
They showed a lot of ingenuity in putting this design together and really thinking outside the box instead of just doing a big cover-up.
You've earned your spot in the live finale.
Wow, thank you.
Congratulations, man, you deserve it.
This week, we're testing ingenuity. Today, your canvases are counting on you to fix one of the biggest mistakes of their lives. By covering up a constant source of shame, a hate tattoo.
We gotta cover up some hate tattoos? We just did foreheads. This is getting crazier and crazier.
From Confederate flags to swastikas, these controversial tattoos are permanent statements of strong beliefs. Wow.
Who agrees to tattoo this kind of symbol on somebody for the rest of their life? You have no moral values. What is your name? Where can I find you? And I will cover your face up with my boot.
Your canvases today regret getting these tattoos, so you must help them by transforming these symbols of hate into something new.
Let's take a look at this thing and figure out what's gonna be a good option.
Today, these artists are gonna be covering up hate tattoos. They really have to put everything aside and do the best cover-up they possibly can.
What's going on? What's the story behind that?
I was just brainwashed when I was younger.
Yeah,
and when I got older and had kids, I realized, man, what the hell? I'm trying to do a 360.
Well, I'd love to help, man. That's
Oh,
what
yeah,
I'm
I
here
appreciate
for.
that.
Right on.
Ingenuity is always going to play into the cover-up. You should never be able to pick out a section where you know the cover-up is. That's the biggest fail.
When I saw it from across the room, I was like, I see a flower right there.
The canvas I gave myself was probably one of the hardest cover-ups in there because it's so big. But I know that I can cover anything with a flower.
I do flowers all the time, so it wasn't really a far stretch.
I've designed all the petals to curl in right around that circular shape as part of the anarchy symbol.
I can just kind of keep all my darks on the tips.
I can use the shadows that are already there.
Everybody knows it's gonna get a really nice tattoo.
Let's get this over with and let me get to the damn finale.
Been trying to get rid of about 20 years, man. When I first got tattooed, I was like 13, 14 years old. I was like an idiot joining the Aryan Brotherhood. That ain't cool. That's not where I want to be. It doesn't matter if you're red, black, brown, yellow, green, whatever.
Unfortunately, I've been a victim of hate. When I was wanting to get an apprenticeship to learn how to tattoo, I was told that the color of my skin was going to hinder my chances. To be a minority, it's actually driving me even more to do a killer job.
So how'd you get rid of the swastika?
I put a little chinger in the gravestone. We're burying the past, so it's perfect.
Can't wait for all the stress to come off my shoulders.
To be able to help this guy change his life is a complete honor.
Ain't nobody gonna beat this one.
Let them know how it's done.
Today, you had to show ingenuity by covering a hate tattoo. James, you're up first. You chose a pretty large cover-up for yourself.
First thing I saw was a floral pattern that would fit her and just get rid of that huge tattoo without being really dark.
You've given this woman something very feminine, something very beautiful. Of the day, this woman's life has been transformed more dramatically than anybody else, and she has you to thank for it.
There are some lines that are less than perfect in here, especially in these top flowers on the outside. There's some areas where you have just packed white all the way up to those lines, and the lines that are crooked and the lines that are shaky, it makes them really stand out. But something like this, with this much detail, close inspection, you're gonna find a lot of discrepancies.
Feeling confident about putting this many lines into this type of skin in this area, knowing that you're up against 6 hours, was a ballsy move. This panned out for you in that sense. You definitely achieved the cover-up. The shading that you have going from dark to light, you disperse it throughout. And that way, it's not an obvious cover-up. It's a strong tattoo, and it's a lot of tattooing in a short amount of time.
Anthony.
This is one of the most solid cover-ups of the day. Definitely nothing of that tattoo is coming through. Shows really good ingenuity, having to draw that tombstone just right, and you could use those details in the cracks to mask what areas you need to really get hidden.
You have so many nice details in the hair. You have really fine lines. You create this kind of ratty feeling, but it still shows perfect line work in there. This thing really shows strong today. You did a great job.
All right, judges, time to choose who had the best tattoo of the day.
James had a vision straight from the start. Great ingenuity throughout. A lot of line work to really help hide that old scratchy tattoo she had. But for me, man, 100% bulletproof cover-up. Anthony's tattoo gets it.
I love the high definition of Anthony's tattoo, but it does look like a weird composite that's not realized.
Not for me. For me, everything about the tattoo, especially the cover-up area itself, is executed so well and so precise. I love James's tattoo, but he had some hiccups in the line work, and I really couldn't pick too much apart about Anthony's.
I need a final decision.
Anthony.
My vote's for James.
I'm gonna vote for Anthony.
The judges have decided that the best tattoo of the day goes to Anthony.